Hello, and today we'll be playing Sylving. It was tough getting up the following day, the sun covered half the bed, but I stayed curled up in the saddle near the edge. Mikhail and Adnor told me to stay inside to trust them to figure out what to do with me. So I've done these past couple of days, is mobile around the house and avoid the windows. Not that I have anywhere to go aside from that cave, and what will I do there? Sleep? I doubt it would be as comfortable as a bed and a roof over my head. I spent the last day and a half in the bedroom all by myself, sorting out my feelings about being stranded here for who knows how long. Aunt has been bringing my meals up to me. I really appreciate him attending to me while I sort out my thoughts. He almost brought me fresh twigs and ground spices. I was confused at first, but he said they were for keeping my teeth clean. Never thought I'd be chewing on sticks to clean my teeth. Like a dog, I guess actual four-legged lions do that too. The spices were an odd touch, though. He brought me enough to last for a few days, but I ended up using them all because I kept biting too hard. Controlling the strength of my bites is difficult with how powerful my jaw is now. It felt odd, especially on account of my new pointier teeth, but at least it was something to do, and it helped freshen up my mouth. The flavor of the spice was close to how toothpaste is, but with a tingling aftertaste and not the fresh minty sort of taste, more of a salt water mixed with pepper and mint. Today, the first thing I feel when I wake up are the abundant feathers of the thick pillow my face has sunk into. I don't know why I feel so groggy after an entire day of lounging around and doing nothing, but I guess I'm just emotionally exhausted. What happened back in the cave still bothers me. What's going on with me? Did some sort of magic come out when I was upset back then? No matter how many times I think about it, I'm still clueless as to what it really was. It was kind of scary when I felt that pressure throughout my body, but I'm too curious to ignore it. I tested a few different things carefully just to see if I could make it happen again. Imagining, I tried imaging small white sparks coming through my fingertips like in a movie I saw once, but I don't remember what movie it was, but it's the closest thing I can imagine that might work for whatever is in me. I throw my arms toward the ceiling in dramatic fashion, like I'm a wizard casting a spell before chanting the magic words. Abracadabra. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't work. It was worth a shot, though. I've been waving my hands around in a box, saddle box of some made-up martial art. I get my blood pumping, but nothing so far. I'm glad I didn't catch anything on fire, but I still want to know what that light show was about. Don't really want to be the first human turned lion man to explode in bed. I tried channeling the emotions I had back then, enraged, despondent, and inconsolable, but I held back when doing so, since I didn't want to lash out at full power. Maybe that's why I've had no luck at bringing it out. For now, being in full rage mode is the only clue I've got on how to activate it. Can't say for certain since I can't get as angry as back then. It's probably best I avoid that feeling while in town in case I lose control again. The sunlight moves across the bed, leaving no place for me to avoid it any longer. I could close the shutters or force myself out of bed. I choose the third option and put a blanket over my head. No, it's too hot to stay under the blanket. I'm still tired, but I'm too warm Now to get comfortable in bed, I squint my eyes, peeking out from the seat under the blanket, looking back at the bright light coming from the window. You won this round, son. I pulled the blanket off again and lay quietly for a while, listening to the muffled sounds of the crowd beneath the window. This town must be pretty big and the market gets this noisy this early. I grabbed my phone from the chest and turned it on, checking the time. 11:03. It's almost noon already. Must be the middle of rush hour for them. At least I think so. I don't really know what the local time here is. My phone could be off. Heck, the length of their days could be different. There's 19% left on the battery. I didn't carry a charger with me. Not like there's outlets for a charger anyway. I'll be fretting over it dying soon. If it wasn't for the fact that it's pretty much useless in this world, got no signal, no internet, and no chance I could reach anyone I know with it anyway. It's not even useful as a clock since I don't know if it's out of sync with the local time zone or not. Still, I want to save what little battery is left, just in case I switch my phone back off, but hold on to it. Since I've got nothing to keep myself busy with, no browsing or chatting online, I don't know what to do today. I could just lay here and wait, I guess. I think I'm going insane. I put myself up and out of bed, wrapped in the red blanket. My feet lay on a pile of discarded clothes I left on the floor yesterday. I've been using the same clothes for a few days now, so I'd rather not wear them when it's just me in the room. Standing up, hunched over, I trudge over to the table. There's relief in my joints from finally being stretched out again. I didn't realize how stiff I had gotten after laying in bed for so long. Sitting back down on the stool, I put my phone down on the vanity and stared at the mirror. Well, I look terrible. Put eyes, messy hair, and the most miserable frown I think my face can manage. I don't think I've ever seen a lion look this drained. But after all I've been through, there's not much wonder. And doing nothing but staying in a single room for days makes me feel more exhausted by the minute. God wish I had some coffee right now. My brain can hardly function. I'm just so tired. Whoa. Seeing my mouth open so wide, my own reflection scared me. I know my face has changed, but I still get surprised by these things. The teeth were so sharp, I thought I was about to get mauled by a wild animal for a second. I mean, I am half animal now, but it's still hard to believe this is me. This is really, wow. This tongue's so long now, hanging much farther out of my mouth than before. I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier. My teeth have become dirk-like fangs with smaller pointed and scissors between. No wonder I could eat that bread walk. With teeth like these, I could probably crush bone. And the size of my mouth is incredible. I could fit my whole fist in there easy. It's also animalistic. Good morning, Aaron. I closed my mouth as I turned around, waving my hand to greet him. Hi, Agnar. I heard movement from downstairs, so I assumed you had awoken. How do you feel? I'm good, I guess. Just a little tired. I mean, I still look like crap, and I'm jumping at my own reflection, but physically, I'm alright. You should probably eat, if you have the appetite for it. I figured you might want something different today. It's downstairs when you're ready. But before that, I need to talk to you. Since we're forging your new identity, it's best we ease you into it right away. Lord McHale and I put together a plan for you. Are you awake enough to hear it? Why, he mentioned something like that the other day. I need to wake myself up a little more so I can stay focused. I smooth half of my face into my palm, rubbing the soft beans against the fur. Yeah, I'm awake. What's the plan? We'll be focusing on your clothes and background today and gradually introducing you to the locals. We'll need to prioritize making you blend in so they don't get the wrong idea about you. As I'm sure you've noticed, your garments are quite different from ours. I've been tasked with replacing them with something more local, so I'll be taking your measurements. Lord Mikhail will provide the coin to purchase the clothes, as well as food and other items you might need. But I'll be acquiring those things in his stead. I'll also be carrying the coin purse now that I'm your guard. No offense, but I don't want to risk it getting stolen. Now that he mentioned it, I've not seen so much as Mikhail's pointy nose since the mishap at that cave. Where's Mikhail anyway? I didn't see him yesterday. Back home, doing paperwork for the upcoming hunt. His family oversees the preparations for the event every year. It is quite a task. He came last night while you were sleeping and told me that the work piled up in his absence. Usually they cater to the people attending, present awards, and make sure that it's safe to hunt in the woods. But this year, they've hired more security than is really needed, and there's been an unusual amount of time spent preparing. His older brother should be the one taking care of it, as he is the head of the family, but instead it falls to Lord Mikhail. What about their parents? They are currently traveling overseas and will be absent this year, and as a result of all this, the workload is far greater this year than ever before. I think they have something in particular planned this year. Lord Mikhail told me he couldn't go into detail about it as it's meant to be a secret. Since the tradition has been upheld every year, he's working hard to fulfill his duties early so that he has more spare time to assist you. I know you must think him unreliable, but he always gets the job done when he puts his mind to it. I expect he'll visit again sometime tonight. The wood presents a measuring tape made of fabric that he's been holding in his hand this whole time. It looks kind of worn out. He gives an encouraging smile before noticing my clothes spread out on the floor. Are you already undressed beneath the blanket? My clothes are starting to weak. My nose couldn't take it anymore. I was hoping to wash them at least, even if I won't be wearing them again anytime soon. I see. Then I'll get straight to measuring you. You can take off the blanket now. Right now? Is there a problem? I'm not wearing anything right now. The wolf gives me a confused look. I'm naked. Understand. That's when you normally take someone's measurements. Having clothes on just makes it difficult to get an accurate read. Is there something you don't want others to see? I wasn't expecting that we'd be doing this with nothing on. I just don't want to be measured naked. I like to cover myself first. Agnar tilts his head and canine like fasten. It's like he's never met someone who's modest around strangers or their all. Then he nods, not questioning it further. I understand. Then I'll be right outside when you're ready. Once it's out, I let the blanket fall from my shoulders and toss it back onto the bed. A glance at my underwear lay on the floor, the sole pair I've been wearing for the past few days. No. Instead, I grabbed just my pants. I figured they smell the least after all. They're all jeans, and they're all I need to cover the more intimate parts. I give them a hard thrust to lodge them in place, and let out a weak grunt when they stop at the hips. The tail's in a way, the base isn't quite above where the belt line ought to be, forcing my pants to sag lower than to my liking. I give them a hard thrust to lodge them in place, and let out a weak grunt when they stop at the hips. The tail's in the way, the base isn't quite above where the belt line ought to be, forcing my pants to sag lower than to my liking. Geez, I keep forgetting that I have a tail now, just a whole new limb sticking out of my butt. When I try to release the waistband, my fingers get stuck, My claws are literally hooked into the fabric and won't come out. With a few shakes, I manage to pull them away, and predictably, they tear. It's not as bad as the Swiss cheese that is my shirt's collar from when I whipped it the other day. But I probably shouldn't let these claws stay as they are if this keeps happening. I'll have to ask Adnor if he can help me trim them, or if there's some trick to avoid tearing even more clothes. I tried to make the best of it and simply fasten the zipper and button. However, there's still a small gap between the tail. That's a small gap beneath the tail. Hopefully, I'm not so exposed that he can see this is all I'm wearing. Maybe I should have tossed on the shirt too, even if it smells terrible. But Adnor doesn't wear a shirt. Maybe I'll be fine without it. It's still kind of awkward for me, but I'll have to play it cool. I'm ready. You can come back now. Good. Now that you're comfortable, it shouldn't take long for me to measure you. He presents the measuring tape once again, gesturing to the middle of the room. Will you please stand here? I'll do as I'm told, standing right in front of him as he unrolls the tape. He moves closer to me, my head barely reaching his chest. I'm still amazed by just how tall he really is. He bends over slightly down to my height. I'll start at your shoulders and move down. All you have to do is spread your arms and stand still. As he wraps the tape around me, I'm pulled towards him without much effort. It wasn't that strong of a pull, but I'm still having some balance issues even when standing in one place. You can hold on to my arms if you're having trouble holding still. This shouldn't take long. His hands hover around my head before I feel the tape on my back. His large hands gingerly follow the shape of my shoulders. I take him up on his offer and place my hands on his upper arms by his biceps. It's an odd sensation feeling his arms. The fur is short and thick, but it really looks like the arm of any human except bigger and hairier. He moves down my chest, following the curve of my waist. He measures the length of my torso and the thickness of the tail. Adnor straightens up, rolling measuring tape around one of his fingers. That's to do. I'll find you clothes that are loose so you can move in them freely. I'll head to the tailor and come right back. You'll be on your own for a while again, but I'll try not to be long. If anyone knocks, don't let them in unless it's Lord Mikhail or, of course. Your meal's downstairs in the oven. It should still be warm. I hope it's to your liking, Aaron. Adnor leaves the door to the hallway open, and I hear him leave the house. I left my arms stretching in place for a few seconds before letting my whole body relax. Then I take a deep breath. Since I'm getting new clothes, I might as well put my current ones in a single pile for cleaning later. I pick up everything, even my shoes and satchel, and tuck them into a corner on the floor. I didn't really have to, but I felt I needed to put them together in one place. As I take another deep breath, my nose picks up a familiar scent that tickles my mind. Apples, cinnamon, and something buttery. No way, is that what I think it is? I hurry down to the kitchen, searching until I spot a small black door that I can only assume is an oven. Pulling the oven open, the tantalizing aroma grows much stronger. On the smooth clay surface sits a metal plate, and the treasure on top makes me feel more at home than anything else so far. It's an apple pie, a whole one at that. It's about the width of a tea plate, small enough for one person, with a golden brown and shiny crust. I fetch a fork and knife from the cupboard. Adnor keeps his plates and cutlery and place it all on the table. The pie's lukewarm, so I'm not worried about getting burnt when handling it. Using a knife to cut a small piece out, I hold it close to my face on the end of the fork. It's moist inside, but it doesn't drip. I didn't know months. I didn't know how much I missed the smell. How many years has it been since I last had apple pie? I don't think I've had any since Grandma passed away. Will was still just a kid. She wasn't an amazing cook, but she was always the best at baking. She knew apple pie was my favorite, so she always prepared one for me whenever we paid a visit. I lean forward in my seat and dig in. Warmth spreads throughout my body as a flaky, buttery crust breaks apart with the tiniest bit of pressure. Warmth spreads throughout my body as a flaky, buttery crust breaks apart with the tiniest bit of pressure. The sweetness of the fruit was just a hint of sourness. The toffee-like goo between the chunks, the cinnamon bringing it all together, makes for an experience that is both pleasant and comforting. It doesn't taste like how Grandma used to make, but this is still pretty damn good. Fragments of memories wander through my mind as I continue eating. How me and my sister would play hide and seek behind her flower pots, and the scoldings from Grandma when we made a mess of our shoes. And there was that time I went through her closet and wore her clothes and wig to dress up as her. She could not stop laughing in her chair and took pictures with her old Polaroid camera. I was pretty silly back then, but a lot of the strange things I did were for her, because I liked to hear her laughter. I miss her. It didn't take long before the pie is all gone. My full stomach and the lingering taste of cinnamon really helped to wake me up. I lean back in my chair and take a moment to relax. It was really good, but I feel like I could eat some more. Before I know it, Mikhail comes bursting through the door and shuts it behind him. Ah, you're up and out of bed. Splendid. Hi, Mikhail. Yes, good morning. I'm sorry for the delay. This should have all been sorted out yesterday, but I was simply swamped with work. He's full of an odd energy, but the bags under his eyes tell a different story. He looks outright exhausted. I can see him teetering on the spot. Just how much has he been working since I last saw him? I was just so behind on the paperwork, and my older brother gave me such a scolding. There was so many coming, and many threw documents up before a big event. He pulls the chair across from me, out a little, then practically crashes into it as he attempts to sit down. His satchel falls thoughtlessly to the floor. So many more are coming this year. So much to do, so much to do. He tilts forward in his seat, struggling to keep his eyes open, and starts nodding off. Before suddenly bolting upright in his seat, eyes wide in sockets, he realizes he was about to fall asleep. My apologies, I dozed off for a moment there, didn't I? I finally got caught up with the pile of work yesterday, but then I had to work through the night to gather what I needed to help create your background, so I'm afraid I didn't get much sleep. He raised a paw somewhat dramatically in the air to make his point, nearly falling off the chair. I'm a bit worried. He's really not all here. Are you okay? You seem a bit frazzled. I'm fantastic. Mikhail slapped his hands on the table, leaning in way too much towards me with an ear-splitting grin. That's good. He's definitely not okay. I can see an eye twitch like he might snap any second. To be asked by a Sylving about my well-being, what an honor. Let's move forward. I have completed your documentation. He reaches into his satchel and withdraws a scroll. He unfolds it onto the table and presents it to me. I'm not exactly sure what to make of it, but there are a few blank spots. What's up with the empty spaces? I wanted to go through it with you and add some of your real information by blending the document with certain truths. It will make it easier for you to memorize. I see. Sounds like a good idea. So, where should we start? He reaches into his satchel and pulls out a bottle of ink and a quill. He readies himself to write while pulling the document back to his side of the table. When's your birthday? April 17th. Your kind must be using different names for the months. But I do remember reading the word April in the strange thin book during one of my many expeditions. It had detailed illustrations and grids with numbers inside. Who knew it was a calendar I found back then? How fascinating. Let's see. Tell me the season you were born in. Spring. Then let's say it's in the month of Burke. Your age? I'm 25. Oh, so you're only a year older than me. His feathery pen flutters around as he fills in the blanks. Do you perhaps have a mate? A mate? Your lover, a woman whom you're to marry or already wed to? No, I'm still single. I've not even been with a guy in a while. I hear myself talking about dating men and weeks from my mouth. It slipped out before I could think it through. I worry about what their concept of gay people in this world might be like. But Mikhail doesn't even flinch, keeping his nose to the paper as he squirrels away. Maybe he didn't hear me say that. And done. He blows over the fresh ink, picking up the paper and scrutinizing his penmanship before offering it to me. You need to let the ink dry first, but this will serve as your official safe conduct. With this, you should have no trouble if anyone asks about your background or if they need identification. I'll be making a copy to register you within our record as well. I did thorough research and decided that the best choice for you is to be from Sellenhof. It is a beautiful place that borders the sea with mountains and great vistas. It is in the far northeast, and the village is small. It's distant enough that it won't be suspicious that you don't know our customs fully. I found a lion couple that moved there decades ago. People rarely travel there, and little is known about them, which is perfect for us. I'm also saying that there isn't much cultivation there, which is why so few live in Salenhof, but that'll help you pretend to be their child after all. He lets out a big yawn as he hands the roll of paper to me. Is there anything you would like to add? So this is my fake ID, just a piece of paper with some text and stamped to the right. There's not that much written on it. I guess the registration system's pretty simple. I can only trust him that this is enough, but I know nothing about this Salenhof and what it's like. I should probably be prepared if someone asks about what it's like. Can you tell me more about... The cow passed out hard and crashed to the table, snoring loudly. He must have really struggled to stay awake till now. Can't imagine how much trouble he'd be in if he's caught forging documents. I'm not sure how bad it is to use a family stamp to fake an ID, but it's gonna be as serious as impersonation, forging, and signature. Despite the risk, he's still doing it for my sake. With how much he's trying to make up for his mistakes, I should be a little nicer to him from now on. I look at the document again. I'll need to memorize the basics before I go outside again. My name is Aaron Sandra. My parents are now Bjorn and Anna Sandra. I'm a traveler from Sellenhof. I feel bad for using someone else's last name, but it's only temporary. I don't plan on doing anything while I'm here, so I hope they don't mind me borrowing it. The small seal has pinned a strip of fabric to the document, and there's some sort of symbol on the wax. That must be Mikhail's family symbol. It's the only thing that makes this scroll look legit. I hear the door open behind me, and when I look up, I see Agnar walk through with a package in hand. I wave at him to get his attention, then point at Mikhail while holding a finger to my lips. The wolf gives a curious look, then notices the state of the unconscious fox. He gives me a knowing smirk and shakes his head. He quietly shuts the door and turns back to me, pointing to the stairs. I nod, and we both make our way up to the bedroom. Once inside, Agenor closes the door gently. Guess he didn't get much sleep again. Once inside, Agenor closes the door gently. Guess he didn't get much sleep again. He was a bit out of it before he kissed the table. It really looked like he needed to sleep. That is not uncommon for him. I'll see him lock himself away in his study with new trinklets he picked up from your world. He will always get carried away trying to figure them out. Even when I would come for a trip to the cave, he would be half awake. Does he do that often? More often than you would think, trust me. Did the two of you talk about your new background? Yeah, we went through the registration paper he put together. Got it right here. Good, then we're already making progress. May I have a look? Sure, here you go. I hand over the paper to him, and he exchanges it with a limp-looking parcel wrapped in fabric and twine. They had these in stock, and were the closest to your measurements. I requested finer material for you, so hopefully they should be comfortable. They may be simple, but it'll help to have less eye-catching clothes for now. And more importantly, clean ones. Thank you, I can't wait to try them on. I'll give you your privacy again. While you're doing that, I'll be reading over your conduct and memorizing it. Look down the parcel and notice that my claws are already threatening to pierce clean through to the garments within. Wait, can you help me with something first? Of course, what can I do for you? Carefully putting the wrapped bundle with my new clothes on the bed, I hold up a hand to show Agenor the new weapon stuck to my fingers. I need to clip these claws. Oh, that's... His throat rumbles as he clears his throat. I must apologize. Hearing a lion request that sort of thing caught me off guard. Claws are quite valuable to the feline races. They usually take great pride in their appearance and care. Why do you want to cut them? They keep getting stuck to my clothes and tearing holes into them, and I don't want to ruin the new ones. It's easier to just trim them down. Don't Sylvings have claws? We don't exactly have claws. We call them nails. They're mostly flat and not sharp at all. Some people do keep them long, but they never get stuck to clothes like claws do. They crack pretty easily, too, because they're so thin, so most of us prefer to keep them short. That sounds terrifying. I can't imagine someone having claws like that. I can see why you have trouble getting used to your new claws with such inexperience. Agenor steps closer, looking a bit curious, and offers a hand. May I see them? I hold the hand out, and he takes a very delicate hold of it. He studies the back of it intently before flipping it over and inspecting the pad. He throws at the dull backside of one of my claws. Have you tried retracting them? I didn't know I could. I'm still figuring out this body. Can you try for me? I sort of feel around inside my hand, squeeze the distance of one hand in the others, looking for new things to move. I stretch and flex my fingers, trying to find or trigger another mechanism to deactivate my claw. But I just end up wiggling my fingers around a bit while Agenor analyzes them. He leans in a bit closer, still inspecting my hand for a firm hold. His hand practically engulfs mine, being twice the size, his dark pads contrasting my pink ones. His grip moves down a couple of my fingers, giving a squeeze at each knuckle before reaching my palm. His pads are firm and rough on the outside, but I can feel warmth from them when he presses in the middle of my hand. Agnor lets my hand slip from his, breathing out in resignation. He can't retract them, and I suppose it can't be helped. Let's cut them down a little since it's the best solution, at least until you get used to them. Some would see doing this as kind of a shame, though your claws are in pristine condition. Not if they're in the way. It would be more of a shame if I tore apart my new clothes on the first day. That is true. Besides, who would I even impress? It's not like I know anyone here besides you and Mikhail. I have safe claws over pretty ones any day. You'll meet others soon, but I see your point. Just don't mention your claws to Lord Mikhail. He'll probably bombard you with questions about why you can't control them, and it will test your paws for hours. Andor moves to the vanity, searching through the drawers once after the other. There should be a clipper here somewhere. While waiting for him, I feel around the inside of my hand again, seeing if I can retract the claws at all, flashing my fingers open and close. Open, close. Nope, still poking out. Ah, here we go. He pulls out a pair of scissors with inward curved blades, then places something small and rectangular on the table. An old friend had scissors like these for their dog, but these are bigger and their handles are a different shape. There's a hole for a finger on one handle, and the other is bent out at the end. It's decorated with a floral pattern on the side, reminiscent of waves within the small space it occupies. You better take a seat. He gestures to the stool, and I take my seat on it. How do you usually trim your nails? How do you usually cut them? There's more than one way of doing it. I thought you simply cut halfway and then finish them off. Usually down till it reaches the tip of my fingers. We just have to be careful not to cut it too far down when we do. What? I cannot do that to you. Cutting them down to the paw is a form of torture. Does it really sound that bad? I knew he'd think it's unusual, but not to that extent. I guess it's the same as if someone were to cut the nail all the way to the base. I would be squeamish, too, if I had to cut them that far down. How would you normally do yours, Agnor? Us wolves like to make them sturdy when we sorted them. We don't use our claws to fight. We were not built for more delicate work, so we keep them blunt and rounded. This keeps them from getting stuck on things, but still long enough to help with gripping. That sounds good to me. I can't let these dangerous weapons hurt any more innocent clothes, and by my own hands, no less. Then let's go with that. Give me the claws of a wolf. He smirks, holding back a chuckle with a weak grunt. He goes to one knee on the floor in front of me, his face now composed as he lifts his hands. Putting my hand in his, he holds my fingers quite securely so they can't move. He places the clippers up close to my index finger before pulling them back and looks to me. He holds my hand, holding it at an angle so the both of us can see. Resting the blade on my index claw, he snips at an angle on either side of it, then cuts straight across, leaving a clean edge. I thought it wouldn't feel any different than normal, but I could feel it in my bones whenever the scissors snap. Not that it hurts, I could simply feel the tension and vibration when it cuts. His movements are careful and controlled, moving from one claw to the next down the line. Andor nods approvingly, and until he's done, the only sound in the room is him working. He then turns my hand to the side, taking careful hold of it around the knuckle. Bone claws are a bit difficult to cut. They are usually sturdier and wider than the others, so be careful when you do this the first few times. I'll try to remember that. My nose twitches as it catches something in the air. I didn't notice it before, but there's the scent coming from him, pine mint, and there's something earthy that I can't quite place. It reminds me of a cold morning in a forest filled with pine trees. It suits the masculine image of this big wolf. Being this close, though, I get a better look at him while he's focusing intently on the claws. I can see his brows wrinkle subtly before every clip, his yellow eyes being fully focused on the hand. The lighter portions of his fur look so clean and well kept, the darker fur serving to outline his facial features. His fur is thicker and longer than around his neck, tucked stylishly, sticking out here and there. His shoulders are really broad, his arms thick and defined, and his chest is wide and illuminated by the light fur, distinct pads of darker fur running across it. Look at this here, Aaron. He shows me the hand he's just finished with. Claws are trimmed. I was so distracted from examining his appearance that I didn't even notice he had switched to my other hand, let alone finish it. What's most important is that you don't cut them too short. It's not very easy to see, but inside your claw there's something called the quick. You do not want to cut that. It will sting quite painfully if you do, and it starts about here. For comparison, he puts his own claw next to one of mine. I can see the different hues inside the claw he's pointing at. See the weak color appearing? Don't cut any further than that. Got it? Don't cut past the colored part. Got it? He puts the scissors on the dresser, then grabs a rectangular object and presents it to me. It looks like a light brown sponge, but dried up. Now use this for the area we cut in your set. What is it? This is a pumice stone. It's a rock that was hewn from a dead volcano, and they can be used to smooth out your claws after a trim. Most people use sandstone, but this one is better for you to use. I'm sure Lord Mikhail won't mind it since you'll be the one using it. He demonstrates the filling process on one of his own claws in small yet swift motions. You can slide it across and away, but never toward yourself. It'll only damage them if you do. Here, try it. He offers a stone, which is practically weightless in my palm. I never thought volcanic rock could be used as a nail file. Can't really tell the difference between it and that bread, honestly. Sure, looks easy enough. Holding the stone over my thumb claw, I slowly slide it across the way he showed me. The feeling of gratitude I had is instantly replaced with dread. It's like I'm scratching a chalkboard. The tickling sensation sends a shiver all the way down my spine and to the tip of the tail, puffing the fur out. The wolf gives me an understanding but encouraging look. That's the usual reaction from first-timers. It'll take some getting used to. I was afraid he said that. I power through the discomfort, rounding them out until Achenar tells me that I can stop and move on to the next. There's a moment where I think to myself how absurd this all is. I'm in a whole new world. I'm getting my nails done. The unpleasant feeling lessens as I'm nearly done filling them. But the tail is no less poofy. I hope I get used to it sooner than later. Good, you won't need to do that again for a while. I examine my claws, now being all nice and dull. The new clothes are at least safe from being sweated. You seem experienced cutting others' claws. Have you done this before? I've helped those who didn't know how to maintain their claws. It was required that they learn so it wouldn't hinder their training. But that was a long time ago. That took an unexpected turn, not to hinder their training. He stays quiet for a moment, not going into further detail. Anything else I can help you with before you get dressed? No, that was it. Thank you for helping me swim them. Then I'll be right outside the door. He didn't say it, but I could tell he didn't like thinking about the past. It must have hit a sore spot. I better not bring it up again. Alright, let's try to stay positive and focus on the here and now. Now that the murder mittens are declawed, it's time to finally see what I've got. Unbuttoning my pants, I put them down and let myself be fully naked. And we picked this right here, we gotta be a nude scene, so I'm just gonna say, put on clothes first. I'll just put on my new clothes first. I can always check myself out in the mirror later. And I wrapped the parcel on the bed, having a gander at the new clothes Adnor bought for me. They're all brown or white and folded neatly. I wonder how it'll all look on me. I pick up the first piece of clothing, being the white underwear. Unlike modern boxers, this one isn't very stretchy, soft, but rigid in shape. It uses a drawstring instead of an elastic band, and there's a hole the size of my thumb at the back of it. I slip my legs into them and put them on. There's some trouble threading the tail through the third hole by minutes after some maneuvering. Next is the shirt, being a light gray color. Holding it up, it looks like a size or too big for me. His arms are long, but the shoulders are narrow, and there's a triangular opening with a string through it. Not exactly what I expected, but I decided to just roll with it and slip it on. I thread my arms up through the sleeves till my hands pop out at the end, and then pull my head through the neck hole before sliding the rest into place. I sweep my hair back with my fingers and then give it a quick toss so it doesn't look matted. Next is a sole pair of pants, brown in color, and just like the rest, it's outside the kind of clothes I'm used to. The seams go down the front of the legs rather than along the sides. There's a triangular cut in the back with a buttonable strap above it. This one's made of a tougher material, not far from denim. I put them on one leg at a time and pull up. I'm surprised my feet didn't get stuck as I pushed them through. Must be because pants in this world are designed with fat feet in mind. The tail thankfully slides into place with ease. However, getting the button through the loop to secure it in place is troublesome. It takes several attempts, but I manage it eventually. A belt was also provided, and I threaded through the loops of the pants and fastened the buckle. It doesn't cover the hole around the tail, but what can you do? With the pants on, I try to stretch my legs in different directions to see how it feels. It all fits surprisingly well, with the pants not being as restrictive as I was expecting. Now that I've seen the full assemble, it doesn't look half bad. I had my doubts about the pants, but altogether it suits a setting like this. I'm feeling much more confident about my situation now with these new duds. Really makes it look like I'm part of this place. I turn around and take a cautionary glance at my rear. I think I've put them on correctly. When I opened the door, Agnor stood right beside, still reading the document. He must be deep in thought if he didn't notice me open the door right next to him. How's this? Did I put them all right? Well, look at you. You seem like you were born and raised here. He rolls up the paper and returns to the bedroom, ducking his head to spare the door frame. How does her attire fit? Great, these clothes are really comfortable. Thank you for finding them for me, Agnor. I'm glad they are to your liking. The tailor made sure to provide something to suit a male lion of your build. You'll have no issue blending in wearing this. Now that we've resolved the matter of your clothing, we should discuss a few things. I sit down in the middle of the bed, and he takes the stool next to me to keep us relatively level. We wanted to get your documents finished yesterday, to spend today educating you about us and our world. But with the hunt approaching, Mikhail will have less time to assist you for the next couple of weeks. So you're saying I should stay out of sight till it's over? No, the opposite. In fact, we should introduce you to the town as soon as possible. Akinor holds his chin and thinks, trying to find the right words. I don't know what it's like in your world, but in a small village like this, newcomers don't go unnoticed. Or still rumors of our behavior, such as skulking about or wearing strange clothes, spread quickly. The longer you stay hidden, the more curious they'll become, and the more exotic and paranoid the rumors will get. This is why we came up with a plan to make the interest in you pass sooner. Every year, the results of the hunt dominate the talk of the town for a long time, meaning that if we can get you to seem mundane in the public eye, then the event will overshadow any word about you. But we also need to give them enough time for their curiosity to wane. I'll be around to help you adjust to our everyday lives, look after you, to advise you on how to carry yourself or lend a pawn if you stumble, things like that. You don't have to do or say much at first. I'll be the one fielding questions while you observe and learn to mimic our ways alike. Lord Mikhail will teach you about our history and current events whenever he can this week. He is supposed to give his first lecture later this evening and even took the afternoon off for it, but he's clearly in no condition today. You said you're my guard now, so won't we be spending a lot of time together? I might as well just learn from you. I'm afraid not. I'm not as educated about these things as he is. I can tell you what I know, but I can't give you the depth of understanding you require. But with Lord Mikhail unavailable for teaching today, I thought we could go for a walk outside, give you a tour of the village. This will help you get used to us. If you're willing, we can go down to the inn and I'll introduce you to some close friends of mine. They're good people and are very welcoming to newcomers, making it a great place to start meeting others. Getting outside doesn't sound bad. I've been stuck in this room for nearly 2 days now. Walking alongside them, instead of acting invisible in the middle of the street, could actually be a fun change. But before we go outside, you must promise me one thing. You cannot be seen using magic, no matter what. Alright, that burst of power coming out of me. There's still nothing within me that resembles the feeling that I had in that cave. If there ever was, I'm certain I would have picked up on it by now. Do you understand? I don't think you have to worry about that. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to make it happen again. You told me you didn't know how it happened. How can you be so sure it won't? Since I've been cooped up in here, I've been trying to recreate what happened in the cave. So far, nothing. That's rather reckless, Edwin. You should have told me. Is there any chance someone noticed you through the window? Don't worry. Like I said, nothing happened. I couldn't get anything to come out, not even a spark. Here, I saw you. I concentrated and pictured the sparks in my mind, trying to make the power come out as I clenched my fist and punched the air with all my might. Agnar leaps back, knocking over the stool. His fur poofed out in fear as if he's about to meet his sudden demise. But nothing happened. Just me doing weird hand movements like I'm trying to grab something in the air before putting them back down. I relaxed my arms and Agnar is trying to tame his fur back down. He is not happy if a skull is in the indication. I guess he didn't appreciate my eagerness to prove I don't explode easily. You better not do that again, Aaron. People would take notice if loud noises and flashing lights were to come from this house. So I just wanted to know what this power is. I tried to make it really small, nothing like back then, but I had no luck getting anything out. He still doesn't look happy, but his nerves are cooling off and his shoulders slacking. I tried everything I could think of while holding back, yet still I couldn't get anything to come out. Point is, it doesn't come easily, no idea why, but it's unlikely to happen again by accident. It's just a hunch, but I think it activated when I got really, really angry and upset. That's what makes the most sense to me, at least. It's just a hunch, but I think it activated when I got really, really angry and upset. That's what makes the most sense to me, at least. So as long as you don't get furious, this power should be under control. As far as I can tell, yeah. If it really is connected to your emotional state, then you have to avoid letting your temper get the better of you. I don't know how. I don't know much about magic or the Sylving's powers, but I'll trust that you know how to manage it. The word Sylving keeps coming up. I still haven't asked what it means exactly, but it's making me think about how this world has some history with them. It's hard to believe I'm one myself. It makes me feel like I'm from a race of elves, regarded as high beings due to possessing some sort of power. Did Sylvans do something terrible in the past? How would people react to me if they figure out I'm not really like them? I tug on my sleeve and look up at the wolf. Hey, Akenor, is it really a death sentence if someone finds out I'm a Sylvan? Akenor looks at a bit surprised and apologetic. No, of course not. Probably. That doesn't sound too reassuring. I'm not sure what will happen. There's been no Sylvans in these lands for centuries. The wolf scratches his head, giving it some thought on how to answer. Tell me, if I were to go to your world, would I be executed for being a wolf? I don't really know. Nobody's ever seen a real wolfman like you in my world before. Neither have they seen a foxman like Mikhail or anyone from there, really. Unless I count the myth of werewolves and how they tear people apart like wild beasts in the movies, the response there is of course, to hunt them down with guns or whatever gets the job done. But it's better to keep that to myself. Atnor's case would be different, but the perception of him could range from admiration to following on sight. There's no way everyone would be on the same page the moment they saw him. I guess it would be very mixed, good and bad, mostly because nobody would know how to react. Then you understand the unpredictability of it. While it's not a crime for you to be a Sylvan, it's been so long since one has been seen or heard, there's no telling how people would react. The knowledge of a Sylvan here could cause an uproar, and the news would travel far and wide. The outcome would be chaos no matter what, so it's just not safe for people to know. Especially for Lord Mikhail's sake. As I said before, what he's been doing is highly forbidden. I don't know if even his family can save his neck if someone figures out he's responsible. The most damning part being that Lord Mikhail used a witch relic. That alone will bring more harm to those involved than anything else. Please don't judge him for using it. Despite it being a crime, he wanted to help the people. There are those who still suffer today because of evil witches in the past. He figured the best way to undo the harm they caused was to travel to the Sylvan world in search of a solution, and the only way to do so is in secret. To avoid drawing attention, it's best we never mention witches, their relics, or the Sylvans to anyone, and if someone else brings them up, we should change the topic or leave. That was a lot to take in. I have so many questions about everything he just said, but I don't think I can handle much more pressure. I don't mean to scare you, but you have to be careful of your words out here. Even when talking to those close to me, I want you to fit in and lead a normal life while you're here. To do so, we have to avoid any unusual behavior that might cause problems. The weight of those words sit heavy on my shoulders. I understand how important it is that I don't talk about witches, myself, and human stuff. That kind of secrecy hits a little too close to home. I understand I won't tell anyone, I promise. Take this to heart. Anor raises a scroll in his hand. I went and memorized your safe conduct. It's vague enough as far as background goes, but people might ask what it's like in Salenhof. Did his lordship describe what it's like to you before he fell asleep? Mikhail, not a lot. He told me it's a place with great views and that not many people live there since it's undeveloped, but that's about it. We'll try to learn more about it tomorrow. For now, when someone asks you a question you don't have an answer to, turn to me. I can either answer for you or pull you from the conversation. If you're by yourself, you can make an excuse like you're still too weary from your fever to answer. Or you can try to keep it vague, but whatever you do, never make unnecessary lies. The truth is often easy to prove, and it'll come back to bite you if you tell too many, and they'll fail to line up. And always remember that just because someone asks a question doesn't mean you have to answer. You especially shouldn't feel pressure to give a response about something personal. This is why I want you to come with me today. Learning is all well and good, but it's better to do so from experience. We need you to adjust quickly while we still have excuses for any slip-ups, like your recent fever or being sick. Are you confident enough on your feet to walk with me to the end? It's not far from here. I'm feeling the butterflies in my stomach. But I don't want to stay inside another day. Even after the serious talk we had and the stakes we face, I finally have the nerve to show my face outside again. Going for a walk and meeting some of his friends is a good place to start. Maybe it won't be so intimidating once I get out here. Well, it's better I take the leap and jump into it. Sure, I'm looking forward to meeting your friends, if they're as welcoming as you say they are. Alright, then we'll leave right away. Remember, you're Aaron Saunders now. You're a traveler. It is your first time outside Salenhof. You were found ill on the road and were taken in by Lord Mikhail from the Vetskogen family that became your personal guard. I echoed Adnon's words back to him, word for word. I repeated a few times to commit it to a memory. Good, thank you, ready to go. I can't wait for you to meet them. Finally, the more we talk about going out, the more anxious I get to jump out the door. But at the same time, I wonder what it's like downtown and what I'll see. I'll take you to the inn and the bakery. I know the people there well. They're actually the ones who've been preparing your meals. And they're on the same street, so there'll be no unnecessary detours in the way. So we're not taking a tour of the town, so everything that this place has to offer. I say that half joking, but now my curiosity is peaking at this point. Here, take it slow now. Aaron, I want to see how you hold up first. Come on, let's head outside. Okay, I gotta stop right here. So, my computer is pretty slow, so that's why. So I started waiting where I'm at right now, and plus they got these police sirens. I'm right near an interstate, but anyway. So there's plenty left in this update. There's a whole lot more. We're going to meet a whole lot of new characters and Agnor's friends, and to see how people in this town are like. So there's something about Agnor's past that he doesn't want to talk about. Apparently, I think something bad happened, like he was training somebody and something bad happened. So I think this was somebody he used to train with, and I guess they got injured and got fatally injured, I assume, I guess. But it's something that is very difficult on his mind, and he really doesn't like to talk about it. So I'm happy that the MC decided to not to dwell on it any further, just focus on himself. So he missing about evil witches. So that witch we saw at the very beginning she had some kind of pot. She had some, I don't know. He's like she was cooking up something. Could that be one of the evil witches? And could that be the evil witch? One of the evil witches that Edna was talking about, because she looked like a witch. So, Mikhail managed to come up with a fake identity for the MC. It's kind of smart of him to do that. He did come up with a smart way of it. Hopefully, it doesn't get the MC in any trouble. I keep forgetting the MC's name. I think it's Aaron, right? Anyway, I hope it doesn't get the MC in trouble. Look up his name real quick. Yeah, his name's Aaron. Okay. So hopefully it doesn't get Aaron in too much trouble. There's always that possibility that he could somehow run into the people that he's claiming to be related to, and they could say, well, I've never met this guy in my life. So apparently the magic is not, it's not totally welcome. So it would be wise for Aaron not to use magic. However, I fear that he might lose control, like in an argument, or if somebody just decides to come up to him and bullies him for some reason. He might lose his cool and his magic powers will activate. So I worry about that. I mean, if he could just keep his emotions in check, like whenever Agnor is not present with him. Alright, so next time we'll meet the people Agnor is friends with and just see everything that's going on in town. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.